internet of value at Ripple, we're thinking much bigger than just cross-border payments. It's kind of like Amazon with rare books in the early days, just this market happens to be a $10 trillion market.
We are at a historic turning point.
Said in the past that you are doing for money what email did for communication.
Moving the whole revolution forward.
Take on it.
There's trillions of dollars parked around the world. XRP.
Is there a possibility that Ripple could take over Swift one day?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hours of Crypto. Let's get right into today's video. Strap in for this one, because I'm telling you right now, if you don't see what's coming after the information I present to you, then we truly cannot help you any further. But just know that the fact that Bitcoin went from pennies to $110,000, Ethereum from under a dollar to $5,000, and XRP, ladies and gentlemen, all I could say is, goddamn, we can wait until what's presented here. I don't even know where to begin, but just take a look at when this all started and what the outlook was.
That before these technologies have key utility, we have to get the custodians of value on board first. And those are the banks, financial institutions, market makers. Then I think we're set up where these things can have tremendous value across the board.
And now in 2025, here's Ripple talking about tokenization, and we know how big that's going to get. We're not even factoring in other use cases.
It's the same for tokenization. I think that, many years ago when I've been at Ripple 7 years, I'm speaking to, large FIs, they were less open to looking at tokenization. Now the same FIs are inviting us in to kind of see what their strategy looks like and how they can implement that.
Then I think we're set up where these things can have tremendous value across the board.
And now they're all going to Ripple. And there's going to be so much value that they're going to unlock and bring on over to the blockchain. And they've said it here. I mean, shout out to Cypress for this one. This is monumental.
For example, in our case, our focus right now is bringing $100 trillion worth of assets that DTCC is responsible for on-chain. Many folks here may not know who DTCC is and what we're responsible for. We're the principal record keeper for the U.S. financial markets.
Tremendous. $100 trillion. And remember what we talked about, value and what that means. But before we get into today's episode, it is now live. The link is in the description down below. The XRP Pendant personalized text. The reason why it took so long is because when we do production like this, the time and value of XRP, it is more easier for them to laser. But now they're going to have to laser every single pendant differently. And we're not catching a break, but we're not raising anything. Okay, we're going to cost effective here. Personalized text up to 12 characters at the top and on the bottom. Okay, so you could put in anything saying, I love XRP. It could be like your wife's name. It could be the value of XRP when you got in, right? If you got, like, imagine some people are going to put this won't be here when this happens, like $21 entries. It's going to be tremendous. You could put 0.09 cents if that was your entry, what date you got in, if this is like for your kid, husband, whatever it is, okay? These are not going to be here. After the personalized text, it's done. XRP is going to $10 this year. We're all retiring, okay? Well, not all retiring, but you guys know what I mean. I'm not going to be dabbling at this. We're going to run this until Sunday. If we don't meet the minimums, then we're going to have to refund. It's just not worth the time, ladies and gentlemen. So I do apologize in advance, but I think we should meet the minimum here. We have the black, gold, and silver. So with that being said, the link is in the description down below. We will run this until Sunday. So now let's get into some epic information here. We talk about, how we all talk about like layer ones, layer twos, layer threes. This is important. Listen very carefully. We talk about layer ones, Ethereum. We talk about layer twos. We hear the terms like real world assets, oracles, bridges, and interoperability. But there is a critical question almost no one asks, right? And that is, what happens after the transaction is signed? What settles the actual value? That's where the conversion changes, because that's where XRP enters the picture, not as a competitor, but as the invisible foundation beneath everything else. And let me break it all down and show you what Ondo, Chainlink, Quant, Axelar, and XDC actually do, and why XRP sits deeper and plays more of a vital role than any of them. And these are just facts. And this is why the value of XRP is going to be, very valuable in the coming weeks, months, and years ahead to valuations that you possibly cannot even wrap your head around. And trust me, it sounds crazy, but it's not at all. So let's start with Ondo. Ondo enables institutions to tokenize US treasuries and other yield generating securities. And we know Ondo is working with Ripple and its XRP ledger. So this allows legacy assets to interact with smart contracts and digital infrastructure. And this may seem a little bit, over your head, but just try to follow me along here, because this is very important. But you got to understand that tokenization is only the representation of value, not the movement of that value, right? So Ondo can mint a digital version of a bond, but when you move that to a token from one institution to another across jurisdictions, what settles that transfer in real time? So that's where XRP provides the liquidity and the bridge mechanism to settle those movements with finality. Ondo represents value. XRP enables its transfer of value, still maintaining that value in a way, right? And then we have Chainlink, which is pretty much enables smart contracts to access external data like prices, interest rates, or insurance triggers through decentralized Oracle networks. So this pretty much ensures the accuracy and the security of all that information with the decentralized finance at its core. But Chainlink operates the information layer. Remember, we said that. It doesn't move capital. It doesn't finalize trades. It doesn't provide cross-border settlement. Chainlink tells you how much something is worth. XRP settles the transaction of the value between disconnected parties. And you're probably wondering, so why hasn't the value of XRP gone up? Well, you got to understand, they have been working on this for a very long time. There is a real value driver behind this. And that's why when Chris Larson says this,
then I think we're set up where these things can have tremendous value across the board.
Way back in the inception days, and look where we are in 2025, and the value is still staggering here because there is a real value driver with real capital, trillions that are waiting to use this technology, right? And then you have Quant, which is a, interoperability layer it through like the legacy systems. It's pretty much an over ledger technology, right? And it allows applications to access multiple distributed networks through one platform. This is a messaging layer, okay? Connecting ecosystems, synchronizing data flows, enabling cross-platform compatibility. But messaging is not settlement. Sending information about a trade is not the same as clearing and settling that trade in real time with full finality. And that's where XRP delivers that value. Again, let's go to Axelar, where that provides secure cross-chain communication, allowing decentralized applications to interact across the other blockchains. You see how there's so many, right? Like, it's crazy people that are just coming in right now trying to wrap their head around all of this. Remember, it's a messaging protocol, Axelar, that enables smart contracts on different networks to work together. Axelar is building connectivity infrastructure for multi-chain environments, right? But just like Quant, Axelar does not solve settlement layer. It connects systems, but it does not carry liquidity across those systems. And then again, that's where you got XRP, because XRP truly settles across disconnected systems. And that's where you need that neutral, liquid, fast, and reliable bridge asset. Axelar opens the doors for you. And then XRP walks through it pretty much with the money, if you want to look at it from that way. And then you have XDC, right? Which is focused on digitizing trade finance using a hybrid blockchain connected to, as of right now, R3's Corda network. It is being positioned as an enterprise-friendly solution for document-heavy, compliance-driven trade operations. But you got to understand that XCC operates within a narrow framework, and it optimized for specific finance verticals, not for generalized global settlement. Very important to understand the difference there. So this is where XRP sits in the stack, right? So let's talk about, we got layer ones like Ethereum, Solana. You have layer twos, which are the throughput and pretty much to remove that congestion. And then you have layer threes that offer functionality, interoperability, oracles, data, etc. But none of these layers solve directly is global settlement. None of them solve this. So that requires a neutral asset, deep and growing liquidity, interoperability with both crypto and traditional finance. And only XRP satisfies all those conditions, ladies and gentlemen. Because XRP is not just a layer in the stack, it's beneath the stack. It is the settlement fabric tying all chains, all platforms, all financial instruments into one seamless interoperable value layer. And now, with all the information that I just gave to you, now you should be wondering, that's why the value of XRP has not gone crazy yet. Because this thing is engineered to connect all these regulated, capital-heavy institutions into one seamless, interoperable value layer. And that's why the value, my goodness, how do people not see it, right? It is just insane because you have XRP as the bridge between dollar to euro, stablecoin to stablecoin, tokenized treasuries, and sovereign assets. It's insane. It offers that instant finality, and you have programmable liquidity already built in. Okay? So just remember, it was built from the very beginning to move value, not to be governed, not to feed data, not to route messages, to settle instantly globally. So as the world accelerates into tokenized assets, as you guys, that's like the main talking point, what reduces that complexity going into this new era is the settlement, finality, and liquidity, and Ripple has all that. XRP is not the hype. It is the headline. It's the infrastructure. Please make that clear, cemented in your head. It's what ensures that when the message is sent, the money moves and everyone walks away settled right away. Right away. And they'll need a neutral, trusted, scalable settlement layer to connect them. And that, not a layer one. That's not a meshing bridge. That's XRP. That quiet layer, the base, the foundation beneath it all, that 99% of the world's population does not understand what it is, but they will soon when they go to 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 45, $100. Okay? That's only when they're going to understand. And let me say one thing. People are trying to understand Bitcoin right now in 2025, right? But they still don't understand it. Michael Saylor says this today, and then we're going to end this off. If you're not buying Bitcoin at all-time high, you're leaving money on the table. And of course, I had to reply to him. I mean, it's insane. No average person is buying $100,000 Bitcoin, Michael. You're pitching a billionaire's asset to people with less than $5,000 in savings, okay? Americans can't even afford, they have a $500 emergency fund, and this guy is telling everybody to go FOMO into Bitcoin. Buying $10,000 to $40,000 worth right now will not change their lives. It'll leave them broke, stressed, and praying for a 2x. Bitcoin is now fully institutionalized playground for corporations, hedge funds, and high net worth whales. This isn't for everyday workers anymore, ladies and gentlemen. You got to realize that he raised debt to buy more. And guess what the average retail is going to do? They're going to raise credit card bills trying to chase it. And this isn't alpha. This is misdirection of Michael Saylor. Because retail really needs to wake up and study what's coming next. And that is the infrastructure wave. That's where generational wealth is going to be made. And right now, buying Bitcoin, I'm telling you right now, there's no reason why you should be buying Bitcoin whatsoever. If you own like $10,000 worth of Bitcoin right now, you're better off selling that thing and putting in something else, okay? Not financial advice, just common sense. Do some math around it. It makes no sense for you to hold it. If you have one Bitcoin and you have other tokens, sure, it's good. It's a good hedge until it pops. I'm hedging with Bitcoin as well, don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about now. Now, we're talking 2025. Nobody should be buying Bitcoin. Nobody should be accumulating Bitcoin. That's the dumbest thing you could be doing.
They told us dream small, but we had the stars in mind. While they chased hype, we studied time. In the noise we found the signal. Brad knew just what to do. Now XRP hums like jazz, running smooth and true. Money's changing, systems bend, ripple flow into the end. Truth is quiet, bold and deep. We salute the ones who lose no sleep. Salute to the minds that built this chain. Salute, salute, through the trials, through the pain. Salute, salute, to the calm, to the wise. Salute, 100 in our eyes. Bitcoin maxis yell on stage, stuck in loops they call belief, while XRPL just clears the way. No delay, no grief. They hoard coins like dusty gold, but we got utility in every fold. The future ain't loud, it's steady breathing. Real ones know what's worth believing. It ain't hype, it's code and soul. We salute the ones who see the whole. Salute to the builders, to the flow. Salute, salute, where the real ones choose to go. Salute, salute, to the heart, to the plan. Salute, XRP will lead the land. Value don't lie, and truth don't shake. Let the whole world break, we remake. Strategic reserve, written in stars. XRP gonna take us far. So here's to the signal, clear and bright. To the dreamers who held on tight. No matter the storm, no matter the fight. Salute, we rise with the light.
We started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough. And this is exactly what's happening. Flip the switch. I think what we're building has, it's solving a real problem. And I think all of the tokens, my advice to anybody would be, understand the utility. If there's real utility and there's real value being delivered to a real customer, there will be value in the token.